functions the same, right? It's affected by our hormones, in our environment, in our stress levels, in our genetics, in our ethnicity. Like there's so many things that affect how our bodily processes are done, right? And so that's kind of the approach that I take as an FDNP is doing the functional labs. You do a super in-depth intake process to really see what's going on in the body and how each specific body works to come up with the best plan of action for, whatever it is that the client is dealing with.
Have you realized with your client, like for me, my clients underestimate the impact of cortisol on the body.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I'm a bit stressed, but I'm okay. And then everything, I've even had one example where one of my most favorite clients had gone through IVF to have her first child. She headed up a very big investment bank. She was breastfeeding the baby under her desk at 3 months, straight back at work. She was a partner at the investment bank, and she retired at the age of 40 and bought a B&B, a beautiful in hinterland. And when she bought it, the lady had said to her, "Be careful, the land is very fertile." The previous owner had fell pregnant at 42 and 44, and she said, "Oh, you don't have to worry about us." Like,
oh my gosh.
And within a year of this purchase, she'd fallen pregnant naturally.
Oh, no.
And there was a 12-year age gap.
That's crazy.
Couldn't be happier. Most beautiful child, couple, everything. But the impact of cortisol on her body was so underestimated in that whole pregnancy impact.
Absolutely.
With pre-pregnancy or women trying to fall pregnant.
I don't have a lot of people that I work with like pre and postnatal, but I definitely have a lot of people that I work with cortisol and just hormones in general. I think I agree with you. I think cortisol is super underestimated in terms of how it affects your health. And I think a lot of people think that just high cortisol is a problem. But the fact is that super low cortisol is even worse than super high cortisol, because once your cortisol levels get to a certain amount, they just bottom out. And then you're running on like basically empty, like barely any cortisol, and all these other things start dysfunctioning because it affects all these other hormones and neurotransmitters in your body. So I definitely agree that cortisol is definitely underestimated and is really the cause of a lot of things that people might attribute to something else, right? Like gut issues and like thyroid issues and all kinds of other issues.
Yeah. What about type 2 diabetes over there, or insulin resistance? Like here in Australia, that is huge. We have 19,000 people dying per year due to type 2 diabetes related incidences or through that disease. And I think in 2021, we had 200 die of